Good evening, good evening. Happy Wednesday. It feels it feels good to be back in another weekly Wednesday webinar. Last week we were doing some projects. I was not able to come, but this time I have the opportunity to join the team again. My name is Eddie Villanueva, and as you know, I'm the official MC of the weekly Wednesday webinars. We're so excited for to go over another amazing topic, guarding your finances in 2025. We know that we just started the year. January is almost over. I can't believe it's already the 29th. But we want to make sure that you learn some new tips when it comes to your finances so you can reach your financial dreams and goals. I see so many new familiar names on the attendees. Thank you very much for your loyal support for being here with us. And if you are, new to the weekly Wednesday webinars, please, give us an opportunity, relax with us, go get your drink, go get it, your dinner. But we're gonna have such a great time this evening. And also last week I heard that, the panelist was bragging how an amazing presentation we had with Madison. I don't know if you want to, type on the chat if you are, if you were part of that presentation, but we were so excited to present, that, amazing topic. And as usual, don't forget that if you have any questions regarding the presentation this evening or any questions in general about the United States Senate Federal Credit Union, please make sure that you use the option below, or if you're using your phone, I think it's on the side. But, put your questions on the chat using the chat feature, or you can also use the Q&A. And then Milton, what is the commitment that we have every Wednesday, the weekly Wednesday webinar question commitment?
I love that question, Eddie, and you already know the answer, and that is that we will answer every question before we let you go this evening. So, and I think that's a great segue, right, Eddie? So, again, welcome back. We missed you last week. We had a couple of our members asking about you, but we told them that you were actually occupied doing other amazing things for the credit union. But happy to have you back, sir. And with that being said, we want to welcome everyone. Thank you all again, as Eddie alluded. We love to have you back here on another weekly Wednesday webinar. This topic today is an exciting one. It's actually our goal is to actually talk to you guys about fraud, at least. Well, topics around fraud and how to protect your accounts and finance is most important. And we try to do this at least once per month. And as Eddie mentioned, it's insane to think that today is the last Wednesday of January. This month it's already done, and next week will be a new month, and with it, for next month, I've been told that we're gonna make this similar topic, but it's gonna be a little bit more exciting, a little bit more fun, I guess, if you will. So stay tuned. We're gonna give you more details later on. But with that being said, let me just start with the introductions here. As you already heard his name, Mr. MC Eddie Villanueva. He is with the marketing department, who, and let me say this, recently got promoted. So congratulations, Mr. Eddie. Just moving up with the company. He's been over with the credit union for over 10 years now, and he recently got another promotion. So Eddie, congrats. We are so excited to have you part of this amazing team, and most important, with the credit union. Also with our marketing team, we have Carrie Lazar, the person in charge, responsible for putting all of this beautiful content that you will see today. That is her. So Carrie, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, and I don't do this with a purpose. It just happens that she is my right hand. And she will be the one presenting this evening, and that is our very own Kim Fraley with the membership development team. So Kim, take it away.
Thank you, Milton. Thank you, panelist team, and welcome to our valued members. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about guarding our finances in 2025, and it is so critical in this day and age that we stay on top of all different types of things to make sure that we are not only financially well, but that we are safe from scams, safe from all types of, phishing scams, all kinds of things that are out there in today's world. So we're going to talk about monitoring our credit reports, how we can stay informed, preventing fraud and safeguarding our accounts, and going to give you lots of financial tools to enhance security and really help you to be able to recognize and avoid emerging AI scams. So everyone, I'm sure, is familiar with AI, artificial intelligence. It's bigger and more prevalent than ever. And if you have seen what AI can do, it can absolutely be beneficial, but it also really allows scammers, fraudsters to be more tech savvy. So let's go ahead and talk about these topics. So monitoring your credit health, it really is a critical component of your overall financial security. Monitoring your credit report regularly can help prevent you from identity theft. It can ensure that you're also in the best financial position possible. So we're going to explore how to stay on top of your credit, recognize warning signs of fraud, and give you financial tools to strengthen your defenses. So your credit report it really is your thumbprint. It is your financial fingerprint. It provides a detailed history of your borrowing and your repayment behaviors. It shows which lenders you've used. It shows your reliability and repayment. But it's really also a valuable tool for, believe it or not, detecting fraud. And if, you're reviewing your credit report regularly, like we said, it is your financial fingerprint. So everything on your credit report is going to be very familiar because it's all about you. So when you pull up your credit report and you are reviewing it, anything that is not normal, anything that looks unfamiliar is going to stand out like a sore thumb. It really is. It's going to be a big red flag. So it's going to help you to regularly spot unauthorized accounts, incorrect personal information, because it's going to have your social, your date of birth, most of the addresses you've ever lived at. You'll also be able to detect unfamiliar inquiries because it does show exactly where you have reached out. Even if it's, your electric company, it's going to show anyone who potentially did a soft or hard pull of your credit report. And that's going to identify potential red flags of identity theft. So let's talk about, there are 3 key steps to keep your credit report in check. It's almost like we go to the doctor, we keep our bodies in check. It is just as important to keep your credit report, to do that check-in. First of all, you're going to access your credit report. We always recommend annualcreditreport.com. You are entitled to a free report from each of the 3 major credit bureaus, and they are Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax every year. So second of all, the next step, you're going to look for inaccuracies like we just talked about, unfamiliar addresses, credit accounts you didn't open, activity on cards you haven't used recently. So if you have a credit card that has a 0 balance and you pull your credit report and you see a balance, automatic red flag. These could indicate there's been some type of fraud, or maybe even it's an error that just needs to be corrected by that lender. And then third, it is so critical that you dispute inaccuracies immediately. If you see an issue, you're going to contact the credit bureau, you're going to contact the lender involved, and you're going to work to get it corrected as soon as possible. So think of checking your credit report like a security checkup, almost like when we go to the doctor once a year. It can help really prevent financial harm before it escalates, or it could even keep it from happening because you're looking at it frequently. Accessing your credit report at annualcreditreport.com. So let's walk through how to access your credit report safely and securely, the process is really simple, and it's one of the most important steps you can take to protect your financial identity. So step one, you're going to go to annualcreditreport.com. This is the only website authorized by federal law to provide you with free credit reports. That's why it is who we recommend. Step two, you're going to provide your information. It's going to ask you for your name, your social security number, your date of birth. The third step, you're going to choose which credit bureau reports you'd like to review. Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, or all three. I recommend all three. We recommend all three here at the credit union. And then you're going to verify your identity by answering really out-of-wallet security questions that only you would know. And these will be based on your fingerprint, your financial fingerprint. And then step five, you're going to review your report carefully. You're going to look for, like we said earlier, any unfamiliar accounts, inaccurate balances, or inquiries you didn't authorize. Now, don't expect the balances to be exact. They might be off by one payment because some lenders don't report until the end of the month, and you may have a payment due on the 5th of the month. So if it's off by a little bit, don't expect it to be exact. If there is something out of the normal, out of the ordinary, you'll be able to tell. And it will be a lot more than just a payment. And if you notice something suspicious, if you see that red flag, again, you're going to want to act quickly. The sooner you dispute errors or anything that is not yours, the easier they are to resolve. And always remember, reviewing your credit report really is a preventative measure. So don't wait until there's a problem to check it. Make sure that you put it on your calendar. You have some type of alert to tell you, hey, it's time. It's time for me to go in and review my credit report. So what about that FICO score? What about that credit score? We all know that again is going to determine what kind of rate you get. It's so important to make sure that we're not just checking our credit report, but we're also monitoring our credit score or FICO score. And here at the credit union, you have free access to your Experian FICO score through online and mobile banking. Highly recommend that you opt into that. It does not affect your credit score at all. And when you pull annualcreditreport.com, your credit report to review it, it's not going to give you your FICO score. They actually are going to want to charge you for that. So don't do it. Just make sure that you're opted in through your online banking portal to get your FICO score each month. You might also wonder, why is monitoring my FICO score? Why is it so important? Well, in this day and age, it is more important than ever. It helps you understand what's impacting your financial standing, payment history, debt levels, credit inquiries. All of those factor in to shaping your credit score. It also allows you to predict how financial decisions will affect your credit. Like we said earlier, it's going to determine what rate you're going to get. And there's also within our online FICO score, there's a score simulator, and it lets you see how actions like things like paying off a loan or opening a new credit card, it'll tell you before you do it how it can impact your score. So that if you're going to be shopping for a new home or a new car in the next 6 months, it's gonna tell you how, if you do something like paying off a loan or opening a new credit card, how that could impact your score. And you might decide not to do it because in the near future you're going to be applying for a mortgage or an auto loan. It gives you an early warning also of potential fraud. If you all of a sudden you pull it up this month and your score is 783, next month you pull it up and you've not done anything with your credit score, you haven't applied for any credit, you haven't pulled your credit, and it's all of a sudden 650. That's a huge impact. You're going to know that something has happened and you're going to want to investigate. By making credit monitoring a habit, you really can protect yourself from potential financial setbacks and stay in control of your financial future. Sometimes navigating credit reports and scores, it can really feel overwhelming, scary, especially if you're dealing with things like identity theft or financial challenges. That's why we partner with GreenPath Financial Wellness. They are a trusted nonprofit that provides free financial counseling. They are certified financial counselors to help you manage and protect your finances. So let me tell you how GreenPath could help you. They could help you to review your credit report. You could have someone, if you're not familiar, if you've never reviewed your credit report before, you could have a financial wellness expert look at it with you, help identify risks, help you identify inaccuracies. You can get personalized financial advice as to how you can strengthen your credit and prevent identity theft. They can help determine what things you could do to improve your FICO or your credit score. You can receive support in disputing fraudulent activity and improving your overall financial security. So we definitely have resources so that this won't be so overwhelming for you if this were to happen, or if you just need help going over your credit report. You see the number there in front of you. You can also go to our website. We have the GreenPath information on our homepage. So please utilize this free service. So now that we have, talked about monitoring your credit, we're going to shift our focus just a little bit to securing your financial accounts. Fraudsters, unfortunately, are constantly finding new ways to steal information. But if we take a few proactive steps, we can significantly reduce our risk of becoming a victim of fraud. So we're going to go over a few key strategies to protect your accounts, from creating really strong passwords to setting up two-factor authentication and being able just to recognize suspicious requests. So we're going to talk about passwords. I know this is not the most fun thing to do, and it's really hard to remember, and everything now requires a password, and some systems may require it to be this many characters, and some may require it to be other characters, but it really truly is critical, because these fraudsters have become so good at being able to figure out what your password is. So your passwords really are the first defense against cyber criminals. And the stronger and the more unique they are, the better protected your accounts will be. So you're going to follow these best practices when creating passwords. Use a unique password for every account. And I know this is tough. It's even tough for me, but it's so important that you update them regularly. This includes social media. This includes anything and everything, because fraudsters, most people have all their apps on their telephones. So you want to make sure that you are always updating them and changing them to keep anyone from, being able to manipulate an app on your phone. Make them at least 12 to 16 characters long for added security. You're going to want to include a mix of uppercase, lowercase letters, numbers, and of course, those special characters. Please, please, please avoid using personal details like birthdays or easily guessed words like password or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've talked before on webinars, and I don't know if you were on those, about my 80-year-old mother, who I uncovered that every password that she had was John Wayne. And I had to sit down and have a really critical conversation with my mom to say, this is not acceptable, and you are setting yourself up for fraud and identity theft. And it took a few conversations with her, and even with younger people. They just want to get in quick, and they want that password to be something that they're not going to forget. So if you have anyone that's not on this call, that's not in this webinar, please have these conversations with them, and not only protect yourself, but protect your friends and family. A password manager can also help you generate and store passwords securely. That way you're not keeping them on your laptop. If your laptop were to become, vulnerable, or like I said, your phone, keep that password manager. That way you can keep that secure. And if someone does compromise those things, they would not be able to get into your password manager. Also, secure your accounts with two-factor authentication. Even the strongest passwords sometimes are not enough if a hacker gets access to it. And that's where two-factor authentication, 2FA, comes in. You want to use this whenever it is available. This is what we use for our home banking for our members. Two-factor authentication, it adds an extra layer of security by requiring a second form of verification, such as a one-time code sent to your phone or email. If a fraudster has compromised your laptop or your phone, more than likely they have been able to get in, but they don't have that device. So biometric authentication, like a fingerprint or facial recognition, or that one-time code sent to your phone or email, is really an extra step that makes it really significantly harder for cyber criminals to access your accounts, even if they manage to steal your password. You know, scammers often will rely on urgency to trick people into giving away sensitive information. You know, be cautious of things like emails or texts pressuring you to take immediate action. When someone is pressuring you or asking you to take immediate action, immediately a red flag should go up. You should see red alarms all around you, beeping like crazy if someone is trying to pressure you into moving quickly, like verifying an account or clicking on a suspicious link. Just always stop and look at everything before you click. It's often really good not to click from an email, not to click from a text message. Go out, start a new URL and go to that website. Or, you know, go out and don't use phone numbers within an email or within a text message. Go out, find out the phone number and call them and say, hey, did you send this to me? Before responding, you know, you're going to want to verify the sender by contacting the organization through those official channels we just talked about. Never, ever click on unfamiliar links. You know, don't download attachments from unknown sources. These can always be phishing attempts designed to steal your information. And we said hackers, fraudsters, scammers, they've gotten more tech savvy. You know, they will copy and paste someone's logo to make it look like them. So a lot of times there are so many inaccuracies, but if we are in a hurry, we might miss them. So just, you know, slow down, look at things really closely, and that will help you tremendously. Regularly checking for suspicious activity. One of the simplest, yes, yet most effective ways to protect yourself is to regularly review your account and credit card statements. It is so critical. If you get online statements, pull them up, look at them. If you get statements in the mail, please open them. That is one of your first resources to seeing something that is suspicious. When you check your statements, you can, you know, look for unauthorized charges. You can look for irregularities, like maybe unfamiliar transactions or sudden balance changes, and then report any suspicious activity to, hopefully everything's here at the credit union, immediately, and we can help, you know, to protect your account. You just really have to stay vigilant. And using these strategies, you can safeguard your finances and prevent identity theft really before it happens. Financial tools to enhance security. Financial security requires both personal vigilance by you and the right tools. And here at the credit union, we provide several features designed to help protect your accounts and keep your finances safe. So we're going to take a look at these resources and how you can take advantage of them. And we're going to start with, you know, stay alert with real-time notifications. One of the easiest ways to protect your finances is to set up real-time alerts. These notifications act as your first line of defense against fraud and unauthorized activity. And you can receive alerts. You can go into your U.S. Senate account online. You can receive alerts for things like low balances, large withdrawals. You can even set up, I want to know every transaction over $200. And that way, you always know, like, we go to the grocery store, we always know it's going to be over $200. That way, you can always see what you've done, but you might be sitting at home on your couch watching TV and you get an alert and you know immediately, that's not me. Large withdrawals, any unusual transactions. If someone attempts to log into your account from even an unrecognized device or location, you can get an immediate notification. You have full control over how you receive these alerts. You can choose email, text, you can push notifications, but by staying connected to your account activity, you're really going to be able to detect and respond to any suspicious activity before it actually becomes a bigger issue, which is, we really want to prevent it altogether. So we're going to kind of show you our online banking portal and how to go in and set up alerts if you're not at all familiar with it. Setting up accounts, it's really, really alerts in our system. It's really easy. And here's how you do it. You're going to log into your online banking using your credentials. You're going to select the account you want to apply alerts to. So you see that alert preference. You're going to click on alert preferences. You're going to choose the alerts you want to receive and how you want to receive them. So you can see that. You can see that this person put when my balance gets below $500. You're going to choose you want to buy email, you want to buy text message, and then you're going to click save. You can also take control of your cards, your debit card, your credit card. And if you don't have cards with us, we actually have the best, lowest credit cards in the nation. So highly recommend you get our card, get rid of all the others. With our card controls, you can instantly disable your card if it's lost or stolen. You can set transaction limits. You can block certain purchase types. You can receive real-time alerts for every card transaction. So our card controls, give you those powerful tools to protect your accounts. For added security, you can receive instant alerts for every transaction. So if anything at all looks suspicious, so it's the weekend, you're out shopping, you're swiping, each transaction will come through and you can kind of check. Oh, nope, that's not me. And immediately take action. You can literally log into your mobile app. If you're out and about, you can go to your card and you can disable it. That way it is not used any longer that day until you get home and figure out, was this really me? Was this really not me? Keeps you in total control. And then secured messaging for Account Assistant, managing your finances securely is about more than just keeping an eye on transactions. It's all about how you communicate with your financial institutions. With our credit union's secured messaging, we have a feature that you can contact our representatives directly for personalized support from the comfort of your own home without worrying about email scams or phishing attempts, because you are actually logged in with your credentials and your conversations are encrypted, which ensures that your sensitive information stays protected. If you need to send a document, you can securely attach files within our messaging portal. So there's no need of risk to send personal information through unsecured channels. Whether you know it or not, email like Gmail, Yahoo, that is not a secure email platform. So secured messaging can actually give you what we all want, and that's peace of mind, knowing that our communication is always safe and private. What about paying our bills? Managing your bills should not be stressful, not anymore, not with a free online bill pay service. It's easier and safer than ever. The first thing you would do is you go into your online account with your credentials again, so you're secure. You can set up payees. You don't want to set up credit union loans or cards because that's something we can do internally. We can set those up on auto transfer. But anything outside of the credit union, like your gas bill, your light bill, if you have, other things that you pay outside of the credit union. You can set up those payees. Then you can schedule your payments by selecting how much you need to pay them and the due date, ensuring that those bills are always on time. For even more convenience, you can set up auto pay. And that's where we would take care of the payments for you. You still have full control. You set the rules on timing, the amount, and we send the payment securely. Plus, you'll receive a confirmation email saying, hey, this was paid, and you didn't have to do a thing. So online bill pay keeps your payments organized, it keeps them on time, but most importantly, it keeps them secure. So you can focus on your financial goals without worrying about missed or late payments. And then there's secure payments with Digital Wallet. I would love to know in the chat how many of you are using Digital Wallet. Do you love it? Is it fast? Is it easy? You know, carrying cash or even pulling out your card isn't always the safest option anymore. And that's where Digital Wallet comes in. Digital Wallet provides a fast, safe, and contactless way to make payments. And when you use a digital wallet, your card information is actually encrypted and never shared with that merchant. And that just reduces the risk of fraud or data breaches. So you can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay for added security and convenience, whether you're shopping in store or online. And with digital wallets, you're protecting your financial information while making transactions quicker and easier. If you haven't set one up yet, you know, consider adding your United States Senate Federal Credit Union cards today for an extra layer of security. Let's walk through how easy it is to actually link your USS FCU cards for secure, convenient payments. You're going to simply open your digital wallet, your Apple Pay, your Google Wallet, your Samsung Pay, then tap to add a card. You're going to select credit or debit, follow the on-screen instructions, and once added, you'll verify it with USS FCU with us. After that setup, you can start using your card immediately for quick, contactless, and secure transactions, whether you're shopping online or actually physically in a store. It's a simple step that just adds that extra layer of protection to your everyday spending. And then, you know, if you notice anything unusual when you log in, when you look at your statements, it's really, really important. We can't say this enough. It's important to act fast. Reporting suspicious activity right away can really help prevent fraud and limit potential further damage. And here's how you can report concerns quickly. And yes, everyone will get this slide presentation. It'll be emailed to you tomorrow. So, you know, you don't have to jot this down. You will have it and you can save it to your desktop, to your computer, to your laptop. And that way you can always go back to it, even if you have a friend or family member who needs this information. You're going to call us, Member Services, at 800-374-2758 to get immediate assistance, or you can use the secure messaging portal that we talked about earlier. Once you log into your online account using your credentials, you can log into your account to verify transactions, use our website for the latest fraud alerts and security updates. You'll find that on our homepage. You know, just taking proactive steps really ensures that your finances stay protected. Always be vigilant, always. You know, if something doesn't seem right, do not hesitate. It might actually be nothing at all, but trust your gut. We always say that, you know, if something looks off, report it. So staying ahead of evolving digital threats, before we wrap up, we just want to take a moment to address the emerging and fast-growing threat, and that is AI, artificial intelligence-driven scams. Advances in artificial intelligence have made it so much easier for scammers to impersonate trusted individuals. You know, they can craft highly convincing messages. They can deceive even the most cautious among us. So let's go over some of the most common scams and how you can protect yourself. So spotting AI scams, as AI technology evolves, and it is evolving very quickly, fraudsters are using it to create really sophisticated scams. And here's a few threats that you want to be aware of. Voice scams. Scammers clone voices, believe it or not, to impersonate loved ones or financial institutions, making urgent requests for money. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Always verify these directly. Phishing emails, and that's the PH phishing. AI generated emails can appear legitimate, tricking you into providing sensitive financial information. Double check, triple check. Ask someone, call your financial institution, forward that email to them and say, is this legitimate? Before you ever click or send any type of details. More than likely, it is going to be a scam. There's also something called deep fake scams, AI created videos that can impersonate real people. And an example of this, if you do social media, if you have, let's say there's a boutique in your area and they do online sales, they do online lives where you can buy things. Fraudsters can actually take that video, take that logo, and create a new site that will come through your social media stream and make it look like it is that actual boutique that you shop at. And I've seen it so many times. You're gonna want to really look and listen, because most of the time the voice and the lips are not together. That's an immediate red flag that, oh my goodness, this is not my boutique. So you really want to be very careful. And one of the things they probably will do is it'll be a sale that is too good to be true. And if it is too good to be true, it probably is not true. So really, really, those impersonations, they're really very good at it. But if you look at it really closely, something is always off. The voice is going too fast. The lips can't keep up. So always verify through official sources. Always get out of that, go log into their website, call them on the phone if it's someone that you shop with, or any type of merchant. And then there's chatbot impersonation. Scammers use AI powered chatbots to pose as customer service representatives or financial advisors, and they attempt to steal personal information. So investment fraud. AI is being used to promote fake investment opportunities, particularly in cryptocurrency. So always verify investment legitimacy through FINRA, FINRA's broker check, or SEC's investor.gov before making financial decisions. If you use your trusted credit union and you go through Fellows, if you go through who we promote, who we trust, you really will not have any issues. And avoiding AI scams, now that you know the risks, how do you protect yourself? Beware of impersonation. AI mimic voices, emails, even videos. We talked about that. If something feels off, it probably is. Confirm the identity of the person, the organization before you respond, and enable two-factor authentication anytime that you can. Adding that extra security layer, like a one-time code sent to your phone, it makes it so much harder for scammers to access your accounts. Always verify before trusting. And if you receive a suspicious email, a suspicious call, or investment pitch, research it first. If it's somebody you really, truly do not know, you do not want to proceed until you check it out. Check out the sender's information. Don't click links until you're sure they're legitimate. Protect your personal information. Never, ever share sensitive details like your social security number, your passport, or any banking information with someone you do not fully trust. Secure your social media. Scammers can collect data from public profiles and then they craft convincing scams. Keep your accounts private, be mindful of what you share. Make sure you don't have it on public. There's all kinds of security checks that you can do within those platforms. Go to those and go through those security checks. It'll tell you exactly what people are seeing, and it might not be anything you want them to see. So keep your accounts private. Pause before acting. Pause before acting. Scammers are going to create a sense of urgency to pressure you. It's just a fact. Take your time. Legitimate opportunities don't disappear in minutes. They don't. And use scam detection tools. AI-powered tools like Norton Genie can analyze messages, emails, and websites and help you spot scams before they can actually trick you. And we just want to say, you can contact me, you can contact Milton. We appreciate you taking the time to learn, to come to this webinar. It's late at night, and we really appreciate your time, and we truly value your membership. So we are gonna move over to Q&A. So thanks, everybody.
All right, Kim, thank you so much. That was an amazing presentation. I hope everyone that attended took something away from this presentation. And as Kim mentioned, we're gonna go ahead and share a copy of this presentation to everyone. So you should have it in your inbox here in the next couple of days. But again, Kim, that was wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Eddie, do we have any questions there? I see there was a lot of interaction going on, so I know we are. And I forgot to mention her name, Andrea. She's not with us today, but I know Eddie is going to keep track of those questions, and then we'll go ahead and try to answer them to the best of our abilities. And again, like always, if we don't have an answer for you today, we will try to get it as soon as possible. So Eddie, what are some of those questions, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. As Milton mentioned, and we just want to emphasize, thank you everybody for all the questions that you're sending. We love the interaction on the chat. You're conversating with us. You're sending us messages. Not only questions, but also saying like, thank you for all these presentations, or like, hey, I would like to learn about X topic. So, we listen to you, and we read all of your comments and messages. So thank you very much. With that being said, we're gonna jump into the questions. So anyone on the panelist team, you are brave souls, and I know you will have the answers for us this evening, so let's get right back at the questions. So the first question, this is the very first question that came in, I believe. Actually, I'm gonna read the chat first, and then I'm gonna do the Q&A. So the first question on the chat was, if I ask for a credit card increase, will the credit union do a hard or soft pull? So what would be the answer for that?
That's a great question. We will actually do a hard pull. It would be you would have to submit an application to do an increase.
Is there a limit? Kim? Like, is there a minimum? Like, if I want to extend it, maybe another $1,000 or $500, is there a limit, or that depends on the member's needs?
At least $500.
At least $500. All right. So if you don't want to do $1, we won't do a pull for that. We won't do the application for $1. It has to be at least $500. This question was already answered because I sent the link, the link to the slides. But I want Carrie to come off mute. So, Carrie, will these slides be sent to participants?
Yes. And I could actually throw it in the chat right now, and then I'll also send it the follow-up with links to the other resources, but I'll get it and put it in the chat right now. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. As you may already know, Carrie's our, content manager. She's the one that's in charge to prepare all these presentations. And she's also the one that does the follow-up email. Thank you for participating in our webinars and sending you all the tools and resources that we talked about. So thank you very much for doing that, Carrie. Can you make a dispute directly on the website, or do I need to call?
That's a great question, Eddie. And actually, you can do either, or you can either submit it online, log it into your online banking, or you can give us a call at the contact center, the 1-800-374-2758. So either one of those channels will work perfectly if you need to file a dispute, and we will kind of address it as soon as we get it. But yeah, either one of those avenues works perfectly fine for us.
All right, perfect. And now that you mentioned the contact center, I just want to give a special shout out to one of our team leads in the contact center, Michelle Johnson. She was, confirming when Kim was like, "Hey, who uses digital wallet?" She was confirming I use digital wallet for sure. So Michelle, thank you very much for being here with us and for confirming that you're using our products and services as well. Another question. Is it necessary to let you guys know when we're going on vacation for a couple of weeks? I heard that it's really not needed any longer unless you're going to go out of the country. So do they need to let us know if they're going out of the country, out of the state? How does that work?
That again is a great question. The answer is absolutely yes, you do. If you're out of your normal spending area, that could cause a red flag, and we may, put a block on your card because maybe we haven't heard from you. We typically will send an email and a text message to ask you, hey, this transaction came through, or you were attempting to use your card. Is this actually you? So highly, highly recommend letting us know when you're outside of your normal traveling area, because you want to make sure that your cards work for you properly when you're traveling.
And Kim, they could do that on Conversations, right? In online
Absolutely.
banking, if it's easier.
Yes. Yep. Just put in the dates that you'll be traveling, where you'll be traveling to. It'll make things a lot easier for you.
And when I am traveling, sometimes that does happen to me. Sorry to hijack the conversation and I'm like, why is my card not working? Why is my card not working? And then like after I use another card and I'm in the car, I'm like, oh, duh, I see the text. So I always try to remember to look for if it's not working, and sometimes getting mad at the pump, or I would check my phone right away because it clears it right away once you said, yes, this is me.
With all this being said, don't be a carry. Make sure that you let us know before you go traveling. Thank you very much for that answer. And like Kim was saying, we don't want any, last minute surprises for you. We want to make sure that if you're on vacation or going out of town, everything runs very smoothly for you, because this is the reason why we want to be your financial institution, to make sure that everything's working properly. Let's jump to the Q&A. We're going to give love to the Q&A, and then we're going to come back to the chat. So panelist team, why is there such a credit score discrepancy among the credit agencies? So why can you tell me that each, credit agency has different scores?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Kim, go ahead. Go ahead, take it.
No, I was going to say that is a great question. What a good question. And I'm sure everyone on here has probably wondered that. Credit discrepancies occur typically between credit bureaus because different creditors may report to only one or two bureaus, meaning each bureau may have a slightly different picture of your credit history, leading to varying credit scores. So depending on which agency you check with or your lender reports to, again, each bureau may just use slightly different scoring models to calculate your credit score based on the data that they have. They only know what they know. I hope that helps. And Milton, please feel free to chime in.
No, absolutely. You stole my thunder, Kim. I was going to share. I would like to add that oftentimes, as Kim mentioned, there is in some cases there is a delay with all of the credit unions finally getting everything together. So eventually, your credit history will be updated with the three bureaus, but one or two might show it before the other ones, and so with it probably would be a lot longer for the other company that didn't receive it to update, and that again can take some time. And then just so you know, typically in some instances it can take up to 3 months for a credit bureau to do their updates. And so if they have a preference, they will go to those companies, bureaus that they receive I would say live data, and the other ones will be more of a traditional communication. So that's why it can take longer. But again, that would be the main reason as to why, if you pull your credit, you will see that your Experian is 780, but then you see Equifax or TransUnion and it only is only showing 725. It's like, okay, wait a minute, that is not what you were expecting. But again, it's always good to go in and request a copy of your credit, just to make sure that that there's nothing funky there. It might be because something is not reporting yet, but that's a good thing. But at the same time, as Kim mentioned, it could also be a bad thing. It could also mean that that there is something suspicious is going on, and that you need to address it right away. But that would be the biggest reasoning as to why oftentimes there is a discrepancy between the credit scores amongst the three bureaus. That was a great question. Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you, Milton. No, thank you for that answer, Kim. Thank you very much as well. And I think, there was another question that was similar to that, which is how does FICO score differ from Equifax at CERS scores? And this is what Milton was saying. Some credit bureaus might get the updates faster than the others. And that's the reason why you see that, the discrepancies. But make sure that, whenever somebody's running your credit, you get the, a copy of your report so you can go through it and you see that there's nothing out of the ordinary. Now, I know that this question was answered as well. I don't know if Carrie want to elaborate, but how to set up alerts. I know you shared a link on the chat. Do you want to, come off mute and tell us a little bit more about that?
So for setting up alerts in the in online banking, I'll share a link in the chat. The one I shared was for digital wallet, but Card Alerts has more information on the webpage. But literally, you just get in there and play around with it. If you already have online banking, go to the account or the card that you want to set the alerts or notifications on. You'll start seeing all the options and you'll add it and try it out. Like if you think push notification and text is way too much, email, change it up, only get a couple. But I technically learn more by playing around and adding them in, but the link I'm going to put in the chat right now has more instructions on what alerts you can take advantage of.
Thank you, Carrie. And I think one of the slides, if I'm not mistaken, I saw like the screenshot and it was, setting up alerts. And then like Kim was saying, the person the example that we were using is like that person will get alerts if they're spending over $500. So as Carrie mentioned, play with it, try like a small amount to see if it detects it or not, if you get that alert. So it's just a matter of going on the online banking and just, using the tools. So thank you very much for that, Carrie. See, Carrie comes off mute. She loves being on the microphone. I don't know what she's talking about. Another question. When you disable your account, if something questionable is found, how long does that disabling last?
So you're in control of that. So you would go in online, turn your card off, and when you're ready to turn it back on, there's a feature just to turn your card back on and it'll work immediately.
Kim, is that different though? If you report your card stolen, like isn't there a button that you can actually report it stolen and that does more than just turn it off? So if
you have fraud and you know that your card has been compromised and you report it stolen, it will not turn back on ever. You're going to have to get a new card number.
But if you just use the toggle on off card in online banking, you're good to turn it on and off anytime.
So if you misplaced your card in your home and you're looking for it and you're like, well, maybe it's not in my home, and you turn it off and then you go and you find it, then you can turn it back on. I hope that makes sense. Happens to me all the time.
That makes sense. Thank you very much, Kim. And as you can see, here at the United States Federal Credit Union, we want to make sure that you have different options, different tools that you can use, because things can get misplaced. I misplace my things all the time. Honestly, the other day I was looking for a sock, but it was already on my feet. So it's one of those things that don't be Eddie. Don't be Eddie. Don't be Carrie. Make sure that you use the tools that we have here. At the credit union for your financial needs. Another question: do you know the date of the month when the credit bureaus check credit accounts with you?
That's an excellent question.
That's a great question. I think it's the end of the month, first of the month, but does anybody know for sure?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that one. Carrie, do you have some insight on that?
Well, I was just going to mention, as far as when we report to the credit bureaus, don't we do that weekly though? I felt like we did because my score, I always have this spiel about how like the Smart Rewards or the Visa Smart Rate raises your score faster because you're making the payments a lot, but we report to the credit bureau more often than other institutions. I don't know if that's like an industry norm or bank versus credit union or whatever, but we report more than that. But I don't know when the bureaus actually identify that information and process it. But I see it in my score every time I make a minimum payment or pay it all off if it's over like 1,000.
Yeah, so in most cases, like we were saying earlier, that it does varies. Because again, you do have some companies that actually report live data, and then there's others that they take more of a traditional approach, and so it's kind of hard to tell. So that I guess it all comes down to the company that is reporting it, and then when they report it is one thing, but then when it gets added into your credit profile. In all of the three bureaus, that's another thing. So again, it's kind of a process, but I do know, and as I stated early on, there's some instances that it can take up to 3 months for something to actually reflect. So whenever you and this is one of the reasons why if you've been talking to us and you're, let's say you're in the process of building your credit, and then you just open your new credit account with us or any financial institution, to be more, not to be as specific. And that particular account will not reflect or will not have any history for at least 6 months, minimum 3. And so that's the reason why we always say, wait at least 3 months, 3 to 6 months, for that to be actually reflect and have some type of history. Anything before that is kind of hard. But again, that is on the good side of things. Remember, to destroy the credit is completely opposite. If you derail, trust me, within 45 days, you're gonna start getting those alerts if you sign up for them. And yes, it's not pretty, but just kind of a heads up on that.
All right. If you cancel some of your credit cards, does it affect your credit score?
That is another great question. And one of the factors that go into your FICO score is your credit utilization ratio. So it could, closing a credit card could negatively impact your credit score because it could affect that credit utilization ratio and the average age of your accounts. Do I think that it would impact it severely? I do not. And anybody else on the panelist team that wants to weigh on this, please do.
Yeah, yeah, you hit it right on the nail on that, Kim. And one thing also, and which I try to advise whenever I'm having this type of conversation, and that is that it's you always want to keep that account that has been with you the longest. The reason being is because it's the one that has the most to report. And so as a lender, if I'm a lender and you come to me and you want to apply for credit and all I'm seeing is just recent credit, doesn't give me a big picture as to how you are financially, how responsible you are, how often are you making your payments on time, or you're just making the minimum payments. So the more history you have, the better it is. And so again, goes without saying that if the first ever credit card that you open is charging you more than 30%, then you definitely want to close it out, because it's probably hurting you more than it's helping you. But if you have an account that doesn't have a high impact on the interest that it's charging, that you might want to just keep it at a zero balance, and just leave it alone, because that particular account probably is going to help you more than if you were to come into us and talk about another loan that you want to obtain, just because there won't be a lot of history. So, but again, if you go to our website, I think Kim mentioned this, you can actually, when you go to our FICO score, there is a simulator there, and you can actually plug in what will happen if I close an account. And enter that information, and it will tell you, it will give you an idea. It won't be as specific, but it will be very close as to what kind of an impact that will have if you decide to close an account.
Perfect. And if you have any doubts or any concerns, you can call that 1-800 number, and one of our, amazing contact center representatives can answer all the questions for you. And, everybody's situation is different. Let's say I closed my credit accounts and it didn't affect me that much. It doesn't mean that Milton might do the same thing. I might not affect them as much. So everybody has different, scenarios. But just give us a call, contact us, and that's the reason why we're here. And we want to be your financial institution, is because we want to make sure that you reach those financial goals and dreams. Also, I wanted to give a special shout out to Mr. Stan. He's sharing his
Yes.
wisdom on the chat. He's always giving us strategies how to, have a better credit score, how to get out of debt. Even, all these topics that we talk about, he's always giving us good strategies. So if you're curious about the strategy Mr. Juan is using, you can read the chat and you can see that he's a very intellectual individual. So Mr. Stan, we appreciate your support. You are, one of those members that has been with us since season 1. This is season 3 now for the weekly Wednesday webinars. So thank you very much for that. And then Milton, I believe that you say you're going to answer some of the questions. So I don't know if you want to read them, and I will give the mic to you.
Thank you, sir. Let me see. I'm just trying to see if we have any more questions on the chat. I believe we actually went over everything. Eddie. Yeah, I don't believe we have any more questions. I think we're good to go unless I'm missing something, Eddie.
I see
I
one.
do.
Sorry.
I see 2 on the Q&A. So
Okay.
one of them is, what is the
Yes.
minimum FICO? You want to answer also? Or?
I'll read it aloud for everyone here. So, and the question is, what is the minimum FICO score to get a United States Senate Federal Credit Union credit card?
So FICO scores are from 300 to 850.
So, do we have a minimum credit FICO that you had to have in order to
Here, I'm sorry.
to get approved for a credit card?
No, I don't think so. I would just highly recommend that you apply. It is a full underwriting decision. So many different factors go into that loan decision.
Yes, and I will add to that as well too. Yes, so while you're looking at the FICO, whatever score you get, it is something that we as underwriters will take into consideration. But that's not all that we look at. We also look at your income. How much money you're bringing in. What is also what kind of debt you have. So what we like to call the DTI, or your debt to income ratios. Where you are and on that side of things. So there's multiple things that we look for whenever we are deciding whether or not you will get approved for any lending product here with the credit union. So don't get discouraged. Even if your credit score or your FICO score is low, that shouldn't stop you from reaching out to us and having a conversation. Again, the more details you give us, the better it would be for us. But again, we don't focus 100% on the decision is not based 100% on your credit score, rather than multiple factors that we will look to make that determination whether you can get on any lending products here with the credit union. So hope that answered that question. And with that being said, the last question, it says. No, I guess we already read that, the question in there, Eddie. See if I'm missing anything, Eddie. Sorry, apologize.
No, I think you answered all of them. Once again, thank you very much to the panelist team for that amazing participation. Kim, you did amazing with the presentation. Milton, thank you for sharing your wisdom as well with the answers. And Carrie, you are the link queen. You got all the links on the website. You know that website more than anybody. So if anybody has questions how to find something on the website, best believe that Carrie will be your GPS. With that being said, we just want to invite our attendees to join us next week. Milton, I don't know if you want to give them a preview of next week's presentation and then further remarks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely do that. But before I do that, they wanted to share some tips that Mr. Juan shared with us, and that is that what he does personally, and this is something that I actually do myself too, is to always keep your credit frozen. Please. I'm a victim of identity theft, and I cannot emphasize this even more. Unless you know that you're going to be applying for credit, your credit should always be frozen. There's no fee for freezing your credit. And if at any point in time you do want to go ahead and apply for credit, then you can just temporarily go and lift the freeze and just set the time frame as to for how many days you want it, or weeks, or perhaps a month, depending. It's all on you. But again, our Mr. Juan's recommendation is that keep your credit frozen. It can really help you from a lot of headaches down the road. So, and it's completely free. So thank you for that that tip, Mr. Juan. We truly appreciate you for sharing that with us. And with that being said, as Eddie mentioned, yes, we want to thank you for being with us on this webinar. It goes without saying that we would love to have you back again next week. Next week's presentation is a sprint into action. Financing tips for home improvements. This is going to be an exciting topic. Can't believe I'm saying this, but spring is almost here. I mean, it's literally around the corner. Next week is a new month, and with it, I'm starting to see a little more daylight, which is making me more excited, because I know that the spring forward with the daylight saving will be coming in. So again, we look forward to having you back next week, next Wednesday at the same time. If you find this helpful, please help us spread the word with your friends, family, your communities. We'd love to have them here. You don't have to be a member to attend this webinars. It's open to everyone. And if you miss them, please go to our website, ussfcu.org/webinars or Best Life, and you can find more information and resources there. With that, Carrie, Kim, Eddie, thank you all. You're amazing. I'll see you all next week.
Thanks, everybody.